everyone, it's Gojira Prime here with a little video, and today we are taking a look at Transformers Earthrise Starscream. Now, for many years, I have only really used the Classics Starscream mold for my Starscream on the shelf and for my other Seekers, especially since it took so long to get all the classic mold figures together. So I am 6 years behind the times here in trying to get new versions of the Seekers, especially with given of how they were released. But I finally decided to bite the bullet and start the process of upgrading them to the more recent editions. And instead of going for the Studio Series ones, which are all very nice, I decided instead to go for the Earthrise versions, hence the reason on your screen you can now see Earthrise Starscream. So, as always, we'll go through the vehicle mode first of all, then we'll take a look at the robot mode, and then we'll do some size comparisons. So, first off with Starscream, he is an F-15 air superiority fighter, as he is a modern interpretation of the G1 version of the character, and this is basically an upscaled version of the Classics figure, which I do have, but I am terrified to transform at the moment because every time I do try and transform it, his legs pop off and I'm scared they're going to break. Another reason to upgrade. All in, this is a very nice version of an F-15. You've got the cockpit there, which has some nice molded details in there. You can see the pilot's seat and a little bit of a console in there. Obviously, the colors are not traditional for an American F-15 fighter jet, but I tell you what, if the Americans ever actually did decide to do an F-15 jet in these colors for display purposes or for an air show, I think that would be hilarious and brilliant at the same time. Unfortunately, he does have a slight robot kibble under the bottom. You can see his chest section and his arms do stick out there on the side. It would have been nice if they could have found a way to hide all this detail after all these years, but I'm not going to complain because, you know, just sitting on the shelf or on the side or from the front, it looks really good. At the back, you've got the engines here, which aren't too bad either, I suppose. It's just his feet clamped down together. You've got the Decepticon logo on there, and that's about it. The figure does come with the traditional null ray blasters, and that's it for the vehicle mode. A very nice version of an F-15 fighter. So yeah, that's it. Not a lot more really to say. So what I'll do then is I'll pause the video, I'll get him transformed, and then we'll take a look at his robot mode. Okay, so here we have Starscream in his robot mode, and I'll be honest with you, this is a brilliant rendition of G1 Starscream. I know that the SS-86 model is, I think it's the one with the throne from a couple of years ago, I could be wrong, is a retool of this, but really, if you've got this as your Starscream for G1, I really don't think you will need to be upgrading anytime soon, unless you're just one of these people who has to have every kind of version of a particular character. I think this is an absolutely brilliant little Starscream figure. I really do. I love, you know, I'm a G1 guy. I'm not, you know, I make no secret of that. But this is a really brilliant version of G1 Starscream. And again, it's just an upscaled, much more detailed, much more articulated version of the Classics, which, you know, the Classics figure is a brilliant figure in its own right. So, you know, it's got all the nice molded detail. You've got the fans here in his chest. You can still see his cockpit section here. Nice molded details all around. So yeah, I really like it. I mean, I know there's some jet kibble with the nose cone here, but to be honest, who cares? This thing looks great. I really think it does. And the head sculpt is really nice as well. I do kind of wish they had light piping in the eyes, but that's a minor complaint, really, I think, at the end of the day. So articulation-wise, head is on a swivel and will turn around and can look a little bit up and a little bit down like so. You do have movement at the shoulder. You could do a full 360 rotation if the wings weren't in the way. The wings do bend a little bit, but not enough to get it all the way past there. You do have movement at the elbow, and there is no hand articulation, but with this figure, that doesn't really matter, so that's not a problem. Legs. Now, this is where you might have to do a little bit of moving. This piece here, the crotch plate, can move up, so you can get the legs all the way forward. The legs will not go all the way back because of this part of the jet here, but you can get knee movement like that. And he also does have some ankle movement, so you can get him into some more posing if you want. The null rays will either fit just into his hand like that, if you want to use them like so, or the traditional place for them, which is in the arms. So, let's do some size comparisons. Here he is with his Armada counterpart. Now, as you can see, the G1 version is, I would say he's more bulkier, especially in the chest section. But height-wise, they are about the same height, more or less, with the engine stacks at the back and everything like that. They're about the same height. Here he is with SS-86 Megatron, and obviously Megatron towers above Starscream as he should, and these two scale brilliantly for me. This was one of the reasons why I wanted to upgrade my Seekers, because the Classics version was just so small compared to Megatron and a lot of the other figures I now have on the shelf. So yeah, they look really good together. And finally, here he is with the Classics version. The 2007 Classic Starscream. This is still a really good figure. Don't get me wrong. I think for its age, this is really good. But you can see just how much bigger the Earthrise Starscream is compared to him. And obviously, he has a lot more detail in many ways and a lot more articulation. But if I just hold these up to the camera, you can see just how much this figure influences this figure. They do look, you know, very, very similar. And that's not just because it's Starscream at the end of the day. But you can see a lot of the design cues from this are in this, which I think is a nice thing at the end of the day, because this was a really good figure. And it took years to get a full set of 6 Seekers from these things. So final thoughts. Is Earthrise Starscream worth picking up 6 years down the road? Yes, I think it is. I know that there are new versions of Starscream and the other Seekers coming out, or have already been out, what with the Studio Series Starscream at least anyway. But if you can get this guy for a good price, secondhand, I mean, this one cost me just over £30 off eBay. And I'll be perfectly honest with you, I think it's a bargain price. The figure is so nice. The vehicle mode is so nice. The robot mode is so nice. I really have nothing bad to say about this figure. It's just a cracking version of Starscream. And if you are able to get one, or if you can't get your hands on a Studio Series version of the character, get this. If you want the G1 version of the character, I mean, I know there's the Cybertonian mode version of this guy as well, but, you know, this is just a brilliant all-round figure for me and well worth the money. And hopefully, soon, I will have Thundercracker and Skywarp to go with him on the shelf. I might do a quick look at those figures, but again, they're just exactly the same as this guy, just a different paint job. So yeah, if you can find Earthrise Starscream, do pick him up. He is definitely worth your money and your attention. So thank you very much for taking the time to watch the video. Please hit like, hit subscribe, feel free to comment, and have a very, very nice day.